Hey, hello, AI aspirants. We have today with us Sree Kashyap. Kashyap has worked with a few companies, but the one thing which stands out is the bank that is currently working with, right? Where he joined as a data scientist. From being a data scientist, he has shaped his career into becoming a senior data scientist. And then, after getting into this role of senior data scientist, now he has become AVP in the space of data science. Right? So, data scientist to senior data scientist to being AVP in the space of data science in itself is a big achievement, right? And he's working with DBS Bank. Prior to this, he worked with DST India in engineering space, software engineering trainee, software engineer, senior software engineer. So in every company that he has worked, he has scaled up the ladder. Thank you so much, Kashyap, for providing your time to share your experiences for the betterment of wider community. So the first question, Kashyap, for you is a lot of people are working in different industries, different sectors, and different domains. And we want to understand from the experts like you on what are a few interesting projects or interesting things that you do as part of working on projects, especially in the space of data science and AI. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Kashyap.
Yeah. So I'll give a brief high level overview. I may not go into nitty-gritties of what it is. So basically, over the years, I worked on different kind of products and projects. So that is touching like various retail banking, industrial banking, fraud, and operations, etc. I belong to a central team, so meaning that I get chance to work on different kinds of problems. Project which we work in same customer operations is like predicting customer pain points, right? So again, something related to do with like customer journeys. So assume that you want to do a fund transfer, right? To do a fund transfer, say a UPI transfer to your friend. So there is a step one, you log into a bank app. There is a step two, then you enter your friend's UPI ID, then password, then you enter amount, all that stuff. Say, think that job as a series of 6 or 7 steps. At each step, there are like different various authentications, API calls, server hits, all that stuff. Sometimes these things fail. These things fail due to various reasons. Suddenly there is a network disruption. Suddenly there is some, API failure, some authentication failure coming from our end. Probably you enter wrong password. So what do we do is we count number of people in the step one and count the number of people in step like 9 or 8 or 7, whatever for that journey. And then we figure out like how many people are failing in this journey. It could be like various reasons. At any given moment, we kind of estimate how many people fail. Say around 10 o'clock, you shouldn't expect more than like 3% UPI failure, UPI transfer failure. And suppose suddenly at this moment, you say like 6% failed, then something went wrong. So we trigger email to ops team through, diagnose what's happening, why there is 6% failure rather than 3% failure, which is kind of expected. So then they go back and check all those dashboards and all that stuff, like what's happening, why is it happening, is there anything to do with our network or something external, or entire internet is down, all that kind of stuff. So idea is that you use historical data, try to estimate, come up with an estimate, then figure out like what is like expected failure rate. If something is not expected, then you send an email saying that something went wrong. So what used to happen previously without this model is that people suppose today morning 9 p.m. Our UPI transfer within the app, functionality within the app is not working well. So what happens is, since if it is around 9 a.m., people it fails, and then people start calling around 9:15. 2 people call 9:30, 10 people call 10 o'clock, 100 people call, and then you realize, okay, something went down and all. So you are almost like 1 hour behind. Like there are at least 500 customers with pretty bad customer experience, and they feel like I don't want to trust DBS in times of urgency and all that stuff, right? So again, we want to be proactive. Idea is that I just want to estimate like expected failure rate, and if it is not expected, then something is going wrong. Then go back and try to up the number of servers, take corrective measures, or whatever that means.
Wonderful, wonderful, Kashyap. I mean, the kind of projects that people usually work in the real world are very different, and the kind of problems that they solve are very unique, as opposed to working on something which is available on Kaggle or some data set which is used for the training purpose, right? During the trainings, they use toy data sets, that is what we call,
Right.
which has less number of rows, less number of columns, pretty straightforward data set, no issues with respect to pre-processing and all that. But these are all very, very interesting, use cases and business problems that are being solved in the real world. Thank you so much for that. And second question is, Kashyap, a lot of people are aspiring to get into the field of data science or AI. And they're assuming that, just getting trained for 3 months or 4 months would actually help them get a job. And we understand that data science is a very involved subject. You need to get into the depth of it. And until and unless you work on the real world projects, there is no way that you're going to get a job, right? So for these kind of people, what would be your suggestion? I mean, the aspirants of data science and AI, what would be your suggestion or the 2 cents on how they need to up their ante in order to get into the field of data science or AI? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Learning a theory is completely different from what we do in practice, right? So there is a lot of gap in what we do in industry and what we learn in school or college. So how can we bridge this gap is, as you said, is like, start doing projects. You get exposed to different kinds of projects in Kaggle especially. So Kaggle is a very good starting point. So even though what we do in Kaggle is completely different in what we do in enterprises or industry, but the fundamentals remain same. So at least to crack your first job, I say you get started in Kaggle. You get exposed to different kinds of projects. So what you get in industry are very unique problems. So probably those kind of problems never existed anywhere else. So it's almost like you need to come up with a novel solution which never exists in industry or elsewhere. So to tackle these scenarios, something what I feel that really helps is you get exposed to 100 kinds of problems, then you cross pollinate those ideas into your current situation. Say if you are exposed to like 100 or 200 different kinds of problems, probably the current solution may not be exactly problem number 53 or 76. It is combination of some part in 53, some part in problem number 100, and all that. So the fundamentals remain same. You get exposed to as many problems as you can. That's where you enrich your problem solving skills, which can be easily translated to solving enterprise wide solutions. So don't just learn, try to apply. How do you apply? Just pick up problems. How do you pick up problems? You go to Kaggle, try to implement the solution from scratch or replicate, then try different ways to how can you improve the existing replicated solution, what things can be done and all. So there is absolutely no one single solution or right way to do. There are right processes to do. First you follow, you get to those fundamentals. First you do data cleaning, then you understand the data, then you fit a very small model, then you see how it is performing. So these things remain same. These are fundamentals. So you stick to those fundamentals. then apply different kinds of processing techniques, see what changes in the end result, all that stuff. So how do you do pick up a problem on Kaggle? So any problem which might look like, hey, I can solve this problem in a week, in enterprise you end up like 6 months to 1 year, because the data is not really available. You need to talk to different kinds of people. All these things come. So at least getting exposed to different problems, especially on Kaggle. The idea is that you can cross pollinate some of these and come up with your own unique solutions. So that's my, at least mantra. So you get exposed to as many problems as you can, so that you can come up with your own solutions. You will learn from people. At least that's what I do. I learn from different kinds of solutions and apply to current problem.
Wonderful, Kashyap. Wonderful. Well said. So there we go, friends. So pick up as many business problems as possible, and of course, however, in real world, you will have to probably talk with different stakeholders, understand your business problem, then look at what kind of data you have at your disposal. Look at what kind of data you have access to, what kind of data you need to put systems in to capture, so on and so forth. And deployment is one big thing where we clearly see a gap. And monitoring and maintenance, once you deploy the solution in production, you'll have to look at data drift, model drift, concept drift, and things of that kind. So whatever Kashyap has told is absolutely bang on. Get yourself exposed to as many business problems as possible and focus extensively on solving it. And hopefully, Kashyap.
Yeah. So as you speak, there are many aspects to data science problem solving, right? So one thing is that have that mindset where not all business problems can be solved using data. So how do you know that few problems can be solved using data? One is experience. So the more problems you get exposed, then the more you will know, okay, which kind of problems to pick up, which can be solved using data. So all this you will learn once you get exposed to different kinds of problems, and it's a journey. You cannot suddenly become a senior data scientist or a lead data scientist or a leader in data science. So there is a journey. In this journey, what I say is you start simple. You start, then you worry about how to deploy, then you worry about why did they come up with this kind of problem statement. So those things will fall in place. My suggestion is just start doing. Once you start doing, you will think. Once you think, then you can explore other areas like, how do I translate a business problem to a data problem? Then you worry about how do I deploy? How do I make it real time? How do I make sure that it is a batch problem, not a real time problem? Because I don't want to spend so much money. There's not much return on it. All these things come later. So my suggestion is you just get exposed to different kinds of problems. Once you get your hands dirty, then you will think about other things. That's how at least the thinking comes from.
Thank you so much, Kashyap, once again for pulling out your time. It really means a lot, and this is going to help the wider community, the community at large. Thank you so much.